Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first video for our new group, Unique Oklahoma. In the teaser that I shared Tuesday evening, or maybe Wednesday evening, 48 hours ago, I, I talked about the Route 66, the Mother Road, and how it's an important part of Oklahoma. But I mentioned in that teaser that we're going to talk about a road that is a century, came a century before Route 66. And that is the old military road going from Fort Smith, Arkansas to Fort Towson, Oklahoma. Now, I just want to share very quickly before we get on that on Tuesdays, I'm sorry, on Mondays, I will be posting a mini video on Unique Oklahoma. So we'll have mini vids on Monday and then the regular videos on Friday. So, and again, if you're a part of this group and you watch this video, I appreciate you being a part of it and watching this content. I hope you enjoy it. Fort Smith was founded in 1817. Its primary purpose was to be a post where we would have U.S. military to help alleviate the conflict between the new eastern tribe of the Cherokees that had come voluntarily before the Trail of Tears, but they had been clashing with the Osage Indians that were already here. So Fort Smith was founded for that reason in 1817, 1818, somewhere in there. Fort Gibson, I'm not Fort Gibson, I always get these two mixed up. But Fort Towson and Fort Gibson, for that matter, were both founded in 1824. But for our purpose tonight, Fort Towson, down by Hugo, Oklahoma, present-day Hugo, was founded in 1824. As the Native Americans continued to come from the east, they found that there were white people who had come too. White settlers, squatters, white outlaws that were running from the law, white moonshiners. And so it had become kind of an area for white bandits. So that was the primary reason that Fort Towson was founded. Well, between that founding in 1824 and 1832, a road was constructed connecting the two forts. And let me show you a map that just gives you kind of an idea. You can see here, this would be Fort Smith, right on the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas, where the Arkansas River comes into our state. And then here is the road cutting through 130 miles of mountainous region over the Winding Stair Mountains, culminating here in Fort Towson. And so originally the road was built to move supplies and men between the forts. And then, ironically, as Fort Towson was, both forts were, in a sense, constructed to safeguard the Native Americans from other Native Americans and whites. So ironically, the road was then used as one of the thoroughfares to bring over the Choctaws during their forced removal, 1832, 1833. And then it was used during the war, the Texas-Mexican War. And then it was used by Confederate soldiers during the Civil War. And then the road was used during the Civil War by people who were escaping or evacuating the Indian Territory because of the intense battles and fighting during the Civil War. So it's a unique road for that purpose, that it was originally constructed for the two military forts to move men and equipment, but then it came to be used for bringing in the Choctaw Nation, and then as a road that was beneficial to the Confederates during the Civil War, and then as a thoroughfare between Texas and Mexico, the United States and Mexico. So a very unique road. Now we're going to go to the site here in a little bit, and you're going to see that there's several educational exhibits there at the site, but there's two historical markers. One historical marker, the original one, says First Military Road, and then the newer historical marker says the Fort Smith, Fort Towson Military Road of 1832. Coincidentally, let me mention this before we head to the historic site. The trail was blazed by Colonel Robert Bean. The trail from Fort Smith to Fort Towson through the timber and over the mountains. And then the road was constructed by Captain John Stewart. And as you'll see in the little bitty plaque on the ground, John Stewart was assisted by a young man named Jess Chisholm of Chisholm Trail fame. So let's head now to the historic site marker rest area. It is located on the Talimena Scenic Route, and we're going to head there now. So let's head there. And again, thanks for being here tonight. Let's head on over. We made it. Okay, we're back with our video about the old military road. And as you can see, I'm in some beautiful country. I am at the old military road historical marker site on the Talimena Scenic Drive. And it is absolutely beautiful up here. And before we head to the marker, I want to show you the nice little park area that they've set up here on the Talimena Scenic Drive. There is one of the entryways. That car is coming from the east, from Mena, and then there's the other entryway or exitway that will take you out on the winding Stair Mountain Highway. But let me now pan around to the little park rest area, and it's nice. And if you ever come and visit here, you'll notice a couple of panels here. And it gives you history of the military road, as well as the history of building other roads so that people could get across the winding Stair Mountains and go over from
this location near Tallahena to Mena, Arkansas. One of those panels says that, one of the panels says that, I thought it said some of this gravel, these gravel pieces were a part of the original road, but that doesn't seem right to me. It says the old gravel road bed in front of this in front of this panel right here, and I'm looking over here and I'm not seeing it. So I don't know if this is it or not, but anyway, somewhere around here there's actual old gravel pieces of the original military road. This panel talks about the military road specifically that we already have shared. It was built in 1832. So you see that once you see those panels, then you can come down this way and you can see a nice little park area if you wanted to rest, let the dogs out, run around. If you got kids, let them run around and play. Some restrooms over there, a pavilion with some picnic tables right over there. And then there's another picnic table right in there. But as you can see right there is the historical marker. That's what we want to go to right now. So and it's a pretty hot day, of course, being in July, but with the shade it's bearable. It's going to get hot here when I get out here in the sun. So here is the Oklahoma Historical Society marker that was placed here in 1975, and I've already showed you a picture of that, so I'm not going to read that again. And then down here is a smaller plaque on concrete, a concrete pillar, saying the first military road to Fort Towson near the Red River. Now this plaque mentions Captain John Stewart and Colonel Robert Bean, like the big one, but it also mentions that it had been marked from Fort Smith to the Red River over this ground by woodsman Robert Bean, and now we have added Jess Chisholm, the Jess Chisholm of Chisholm Trail fame. Now this marker was put here in 1959, so it was here 16 years before the official looking Oklahoma historical marker. So that's it. And again, here's the area. Beautiful little area. You know, if you ever want to do maybe a weekend trip with a family, or if you wanted to do an extended trip, you could do something like spend a few nights at Robbers Cave north of Wilburton, and then come down here and go over the Tallahassee Scenic Drive. You could stop here and see this, and then go on to the Queen Wilhelmina Lodge. A lot of history, though, in this part of the state. A lot of history that is a cross-section of French traders. Because remember, a part of Fort Smith's founding, along with being a military outpost, was the fur trading. But the French fur trading, the Native American history, which not only includes the Native Americans that were already here, but the Choctaws and Cherokees that came on the Trail of Tears, and the old military road was used to bring Choctaws here. And then it was used for the war with Texas, and then during the Civil War. So a lot of history here. A lot of history here. And of course, the Bigfoot the Bigfoot factor down here in southeast Oklahoma. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, the first one of our new group called Unique Oklahoma, and looking forward to bringing many more to you. As I close this out, I can hear some motorcycles probably getting ready to head this way. So until next week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.